Okay, so we'll just discuss about the project system landscape. Okay, what are the systems available in project and how we need to work on those different systems. Okay, how the process will happen, like what is the process in a any typical project, what we are going to actually do in a project. Okay, so first this is the GUI, right? Whenever you go to your client system or your project system, you can see a lot of systems here, multiple systems here, right? Each system is for a different purpose. So let's say you are in a project. So what are the possible systems, like what are the different systems available in project? Usually we have development system. Okay, in most of the projects there will be some name for the development system. Okay, there there will be some name. For example, TSD, some name. TSD is the my development system name that will be available in GUI, SAP GUI. And then just like 2021, here just assume it as TSD. What is the other system I'll be having? One quality system or test system, test server. This is entirely different server. What is the use of this test server or quality server? Test or quality, don't confuse, both are same. We can also call it as QA system. This is TQD. TQD is the test system or QA system. And I'll be having one more system, that is production system, where the actual business transactions happens. That production system name is TPD. You can find all these three different systems in your SAP GUI. Okay, TSD, TQD and TPD depends on the project. The names will be differ. Okay, each client use their own names, right? So we have a development system, test or QA system, and one production system, right? Why we have three different systems in a project? Where the changes will happen, code changes or creating programs, what new developments, where that is going to happen, that is in development system, right? Once we create any program, what we need to do? We need to move the development object, that program, table, report or BDC program, whatever. We have to move that to which system? From development to QA system, right? For testing. So just now we created a BDC program, right? What we do in development system? In development system, we'll do some basic testing. That is called unit testing. What is the testing we do in development?
Unit testing.
Unit testing. That is performed by the developer. Okay. Who will do the unit testing? The developer itself will do the unit testing. So this is some kind of basic testing, whether the program is working fine or not, whether the basic scenarios are working fine or not. We are going to check that. Okay. And if unit testing is successful, what is the next step?
Ready to
So after development, and if unit testing is successful, then what we do? We move that change to QA system, right? For further testing. Who will test here? The testing team. The testing team will test this object, this report program or BDC program or whatever it is. The testing team will test that program using different test scenarios, right? They use positive scenarios, negative scenarios, number of scenarios. This is the main testing. Where the main testing will happen? Where is that main testing will happen?
in testing, sir.
In testing server. Okay? The testing team will test your object. And if there is any error, if there is any error in the program, what you need to do?
Development.
They'll inform the development team again. The development team need to change the program and fix the errors, and again they have to move.
Pass it to the test.
They have to move. No, asking is not enough. They have to move that change to test server again. The new change, right? Whatever they did, they have to apply or they have to move that changes to the test server, and they need to inform the test team to test it again.
Okay, sir.
How can we move development changes to test system? Using transport request. How we move the changes? How we move development objects or development changes to the test system?
Through transport
Using a
request.
transport request. We assign that program changes, that particular program changes to one transport request. I'll show you how to create a transport request. It is not generating since we are using local package, right?
You have it.
So we are not getting any transport request number because you are using local package. If you use a proper package, it will ask you for a transport request number whenever you change the program or whenever you create a program for the first time. Okay? And all your changes will be assigned to the transport request. After your changes, what you need to do? You need to release the transport request to test system. Okay? Release or apply or import, any terminology you can use. What we do? By using a transport request, we apply development changes to the test system. Changes in the sense that might be a new program or changes to the existing program. That might be a changes to the table, data element, domain, whatever, right? Function module, class method, whatever it is. So we need to apply it to the test system. Okay? And then testing team will test it. After testing is successful, what is the next step? What is the next step? What is the next step? will apply that program changes to production system if the testing is successful, right? Once the testing is successful in QA server, testing server, what we need, what is the next step?
Move to
They'll move
production.
Move to the
changes to the
production.
production system. Okay, by using same transport request number, whatever the transport requests we release to the test system, they'll apply same transport request to the production system. Here developer, here we don't need to do anything. We just need to provide all the transport requests we release to the test system for the specific object, and they'll apply, if the testing is successful, they'll apply same transport request to the production system. Okay, clear? Clear?
Yes, sir.
So what is your project landscape? If someone asks you about what is your project landscape, what is your answer?
Develop.
So we have development system, test system, test or QA
System.
or quality, three are same. We have a development system, and we have a quality system, and we have a production system. Someone asks you the names, what is your production system name? So it depends on your project, your client, they'll assign some specific names for each system. For example, TSD, TQD and TPD. TSD means development system, TQD means quality system, TPD means production system, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So it depends on your project and your client. So
So
to,
from moving testing system to production, we are also using transport request here
yeah,
also, sir.
using same transport request, whatever the transport requests we created for the program, right?
Yes, sir.
So we use the same transport request, whatever the transport request we apply to the test system, we are going to apply same transport requests to the production system. But when, if the testing is successful in a QA system, right? Until the testing is successful, until the testing is completed, we don't move any changes to the production system. Okay. So
Sir,
as
from move,
mm,
once డెవలప్మెంట్ సిస్టమ్ నుండి టెస్టింగ్ వచ్చినాక ఒక ఎర్రర్ వచ్చింది సార్, అది మళ్ళీ డెవలప్మెంట్ కి పంపిస్తారు. ఇప్పుడు మళ్ళీ ట్రాన్స్పోర్ట్ రిక్వెస్ట్ మారుతుందా సార్, లేకపోతే
it will
ఫస్ట్
be a
టైం
new
పంపించింది?
transport request. Once you release the transport request to the test system, that is gone. Okay. For example, there is some issue in the program. The testing team they found a issue in the program, and they'll ask you to fix that issue. What you need to do? You need to change the program, right?
Yes, sir.
Change the existing program, right? Whenever you change the program, first time it will ask for a transport request. When you assign the package and when you save the program, right? At the time of saving the program, it will ask for a transport request for the first time for that particular change. Okay. And after changing the program, release the transport request again to test system. Okay, clear?
Yes, sir.
So flow is like this: development to test and test to production. Okay, so as a developer, what is your responsibility? Create the object, use proper package, use proper package name, and assign it to a and assign the object to a transport request number. And after the development, what you need to do? You need to do unit testing. If unit testing is successful, you need to release the changes to the test system using a transport request, right? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So We are not going to reverse it. Like for example, if there is any error in the program, we are not going to send that program changes to development system using transport request. Transport request flow is like this only: development to test and test to production. Whenever there is a change, you are going to change the program in development system and it will ask for a new transport request. Okay, you are going to create a new transport request. Clear?
Okay, sir.
So the transaction code where you can check this transport requests, that is in SC09. SC09 or SC01. Here we are going to see all the transport request numbers. Go to SC09, enter your username. Here we have request status, right? Modifiable, released. What do you mean by released? Which is already applied to test system. Released means which are already applied to test system. We cannot use the transport request anymore. Okay, display. So these are all the transport requests. These are all the transport requests created for different objects, right? Clear? What is the status of these transport requests? Modifiable. That means these are still active. The changes are not applied to the test system yet. Clear? Is it clear? If you observe this is in release status. It is having a tick mark, right? That
Yes,
means
sir.
it is released. It is already released to the test system. You cannot add any changes to this transport request. It is in release state, but you can add changes to any of
Changes.
these transport requests. But please observe, we are not going to create different transport requests for different object. For example, I ask you to create a sales order report. As part of sales order report, you are going to create some structures and a program and some include programs and some classes and methods, right? For the same object, sales order report, right? You are going to create a program and you are going to create a class methods and you are going to create some structures, etc., right? For the same program.
Yes, yes, sir.
So how many transport requests we are going to use here? We are going to use a single transport request. We need to
Yes,
assign
sir.
all those changes to the single transport request because the requirement is same, right? We are creating all these different class methods, data dictionary structures, programs, include programs, function modules, whatever, for the same sales order report only, right?
Yes, sir.
In
Yes,
that
sir.
case, we need to use a single transport request, same transport request for all those objects. We should not create different transport requests for different object. Okay. For example, you are creating a table with 20 fields. For these 20 fields, you are going to create 20 domains, right? Domains and data elements, right? So for every data element or domain, it will ask for a transport request. At the time, we should not create a new transport request for each object. What you need to do? You need to assign all these objects, all these domains and data elements to a single transport request. Okay? Don't create new transport request for each object. If the requirement is same, if the object is same, assign same transport request for all the objects created. Okay? Clear?
Yes, sir.
So these are all the objects assigned to this transport request. This is called subtask. This is called subtask and this is called main task. Okay? Clear?
Yes, sir.
So the subtask is going to contain all the objects, programs, data elements, tables, whatever you assign to this transport request number. Okay. So after completing your changes, after completing your unit testing, how can you release, how can you apply this transport request to test system? Go to SC09, find your transport request number, and first release your subtask, this one. Select this subtask, and there should be an option here. Release directly. Click on release directly. Then subtask will be released. What is the next step? Once the subtask is released, you can see a tick mark here. If it is released successfully, then what you need to do? Select the main task and click on release directly again. So it will release the main task also. Next, what is the next step? After releasing the transport request, send this transport request to basis team. What is basis team? Basis is the system admin. Basis consultant is the system admin who will apply. You release your transport request, right? You released it and provide the transport request to your basis team. So the basis consultant will apply this transport request to which system? Which system?
Yes, sir.
Test system, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The basis consultant will apply the transport request to the test system, and we inform the test system to perform the testing.
Yes.
Once all the objects are imported to test system. Once the transport request is imported to test system, they should be able to access our programs in SC38, right? Once the testing is completed, your manager or lead again will ask the basis consultant to apply the same transport request to
Production.
production system. Okay. Clear? This is what will happen in any project, right? Next time there is a change in the same program, whenever you click on change button and click on save, it will ask for a new transport request number, and you need to assign your changes to the transport request number, and after completing the changes you have to release your transport request number, and the remaining process is same, and you need to inform your basis consultant to apply the transport request number to test system. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Is it clear? Is it clear for everyone?
Yes, sir.
So this is the process you have to explain about system landscape, or you need to understand the process how we create the programs in development system and apply to test and production systems. Is everyone clear on this? This is very important. Sometimes what will happen, if you are new to the project and if you have no prior knowledge, In any real-time project, what you guys have to, what few guys used to do. For example, if your team lead asks you to create a report program, sales order report program, for that, and he asks you to create that program with the help of class methods, right? All the logic in the class methods, right? And use some data dictionary structures. What few people will do, they'll create a new transport request for each object. For example, if there are uh, 4 objects involved in this development, for 2 data dictionary structures and 1 main program and 2 include programs and 1 class method. Total 4, right? Few people used to create 4 transport requests for each one. That is not recommended. Okay, you should use the same transport request number for all this development, because the development is same, right? Altogether
Yes.
sales order report is same. Inside the sales order report we are using different object types like class methods, structures, include programs, etc. Right? Clear? Even though accidentally by mistake, if you assign your changes to a different transport request number, you can change it before it is released. Okay, and also you should always use proper transport description. Here this is the description, right? Here always you should use proper name. There should be a naming standard. You should follow your project naming standard to provide the transport request description. Always check with your lead what is the format for the transport request description. If you want to change it, you can change it. Double click on it, go to properties, click on change. You can change the description until unless it is in modifiable state. Okay, once it is released, you can't do any changes. Clear? For example, accidentally you added one incorrect object to this transport request number, which you should not transport to the test system. What you need to do, go to the subtask and double click on it and change it. Select that object. For example, this is the program. Select that object and delete it. Delete from the transport request so that it will not be imported to test system when you release this transport request number. Okay, clear? So when we are working on the systems, when we are working with the transport request number, the recommended approach is create a separate transport request for all data dictionary objects. What is the recommended approach? Create all data dictionary objects. Create one separate transport request number for all data dictionary objects like tables, data elements, domains, views, structures, whatever. Use the transport request number for only data dictionary objects, and use a different transport request number for the rest of the objects like classes, methods, function modules, programs, whatever. And first, once your development is completed, now we have 2 transport request number, right?
Yes, sir.
One
One
trans
from
one transport,
DDS
yeah,
to
one transport number request number is with all data dictionary related objects, and the second transport request number is with all your
remaining classes.
program changes like programs, include programs, function modules, methods, etc.
Classes.
So first release your data dictionary transport request number to test system. and once it is successful, then apply your remaining transport request number for the program changes. That is the recommended approach. Okay, why? For example, you are creating a program and that is using some custom table, right? That is using some custom table. Do we have custom tables available in test system?
No.
The custom tables will be available in test system only if we create it in development system and applied it to the test system, right? Until unless you apply the change to the test system, the custom table won't be available in test system, right?
Yes.
So that for that reason, if you release the program changes without transporting custom table to the test system, what will happen? Your program is not going to work. It will give runtime exceptions. Your program is not going to work. If you miss any data dictionary object which you are using in your program, if you miss to release that any data dictionary object which you are using in your program to the test system, is your program is going to work?
No.
No. Sometimes we used to miss some data elements and domains. For example, sometimes we used to save data elements and domains in a wrong transport request number and release our actual transport request number. But the data elements, domains, the tables, whatever you created newly, the custom objects, are they going to available in test system?
No, sir. They are
No.
not available.
You have to collect all of them into a transport request number and you have to apply it to the test system. Then only those objects will be available, right?
Yes.
Without transporting data dictionary objects to the test system, if you release your program changes, what will happen is that your program is going to work?
No, sir.
No. So for that reason, in many projects, they recommend collect all the data dictionary related objects to a separate transport request number and you should release the transport request number
To the test.
and,
First, to
and
the
then
test system.
and then after that you have to release your actual program changes. That is the
So
recommended
both
approach.
for this both DDIC and actual programming transport request number is same again.
No, if you create two different transport request numbers, there will be two different numbers, right?
But program is same.
What program is same? Yeah, program is same, requirement is same. Your requirement is same, but your for that requirement, in this case, you will be having two transport request numbers. Okay.
Okay, sir.
For example, your requirement is to create a sales order report. If there are any custom data dictionary objects involved in the development, you will be having two transport requests. One is with data dictionary objects and another one is program changes. See, so in earlier I told you, right, we have to create only single transport request for a single requirement.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So this is the recommended approach to use separate transport request for all the data dictionary objects. You can use a single transport request also. Okay.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
For data dictionary objects, program changes and everything. But the recommended approach is maintaining a separate transport request for data dictionary objects. Okay. These are the most common errors. So your program is error free and your program is working fine in development system. And when you release the test system, in most of the projects, we used to face this issue. That program is not going to work in test system. It is working in development system. What is the reason? The reason is
Custom.
we might
Custom
we might
tables.
miss it to transport some data dictionary objects. Okay, maybe a single domain, maybe a single data element that is going to cause a issue. Okay,
sir.
Is everyone clear on this?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So going forward, we'll try to use transport requests. Till now we are using local packages, right? Local object, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
going forward, we'll try to use a actual package name and transport request number. Okay. Whenever you assign your object to a package, actual package, it will automatically ask for a transport request. Okay. For example, like this, I'll show you. The packages should be already created. Usually, package names are depends on the modules. For example, if it is a SD related development, we might use GSD, ZMM, ZHR like that. Okay, you have to check with your lead. What is the transport? What is the package name that you have to use? Okay, create this. Type as executable program. Everything is same. When I click on save, what it is asking? Package name, right? But till now we are selecting local object as package. So these objects we cannot transport it to test system. Use a proper package name. You have to check with your lead. For example, Z SD might be a package name which is using for sales and distribution related objects. ZMM is the package name for material management related reports. You have to check with your lead. Okay, let's search any packages available in the system. Start search. For example, I'll use this package name ZABAP, or you can select any ZMM. I'll select this ZMM package. Okay, click on save. What it is asking? What it is showing? What is this?
Request.
Transport request, right?
Yes, sir.
It is proposing existing transport request which is already created by some other user or
Transport.
created by you for a different object. Okay,
Okay, sir.
if this is the transport request number you are using for this requirement, click on continue. Then this program will also add it to the same transport request number, right? If this is not the suitable transport request number for your requirement, what you need to do? Click on
To
create.
create.
Provide the description. For example, the description, you can provide any description, but always follow some proper format. Depends on your project. Okay. For example, task ID, for example, 100. Is it enhancement or change? Is it a new
Check.
program or you are fixing some issue in the program? If it is a new program, I'll use I. I means implementation, new implementation. Or is it error in the existing program? That is mean defect, D. So the program, so this I'm trying to fix a issue in the program, so that I'll use D, defect.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Sales order report. Click on save. Project is optional. In some projects, you may need to select the project name also. Okay. Click on save. This is your new transport request number. Now click on continue. Now click on continue. Your program is assigned to a transport request number. Activate it. Please observe very carefully. This is very important. So the program is activated. Now if you go to SC09, you should be able to see your transport request number. Modifiable. So there are many transport requests. I'll just try to find it using task, right? I'm using task, right, in the description. Demo. See, there are two types of transport request numbers, customizing and workbench, right? Customizing transport request number usually for configurations, system configurations done by functional consultants. Usually they create customizing requests. It will automatically generate. For the programs, for the data dictionary objects, what type of transport request it will be generated? Workbench request.
Workbench.
Earlier I did not select this checkbox, now select this checkbox. So we are going to use workbench request for development objects. Display. So this is my transport request, right?
Yes.
This is the main task and this is the subtask. Expand this. What is the object that contains? One
Demo
program.
test.
One program, right?
Yes, sir.
So similarly, if you add different objects, you can find multiple objects here, right? So let's go to the program. So change it. I'm going to add some functionality, right? Demo program. Color is 2. So period is missing. Activate the program. This is my requirement. This is my program requirement. What is the next step? You created the program. What is the next step? Perform the unit testing. This is unit testing. Provide the inputs and check whether it is working as expected or not. It is working, right? It is displaying the expected output. That is demo program. Now, after approval from your lead, release this change to test system. How can you release it? Go to SC09. Check your package, check your transport, whether it is containing proper description or not. If there is no proper description, change the description. Okay, use proper description here and click on save and go back. Before releasing, check whether this transport request is consistent or not. Sometimes we forgot to activate the object. We forgot to activate the objects, right? For that reason, select the subtask and go to more, request task. In complete check, simulate release. Click on simulate release. What the simulate release will do? It won't actually release it. It won't actually release the transport, but it will simulate that process. If there is any error, it will display in the simulation. Okay. Now I'm releasing my transport request number. Release directly. First I have to release my subtask, right? Release directly. It is released. Tick mark is there, right? Now select your main task. Click on release directly. It is also released, right?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Now it will disappear from modifiable.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Now you can find this in released, right?
Yes.
So then what in so in some projects you may need to send email to the basis team about this transport request to apply it to test system. In some projects you may need to maintain in some portal to apply it to test system. So the basis team will apply this transport request to test system. But this is not the process in all the projects. In some projects you don't even need basis people to import transport request to the test system until only test system. It will auto approve. Okay. It will automatically import it to test system once you release it in the development system in some projects. In some projects, you need basis team help to release it to test system. Clear? Is it clear for everyone? Please respond.
Yes. Yes, sir.
So we release the transport request number and for example, it is applied to the test system. Once it is applied, this program should be available in test system. Then testing team will do the perform the testing. For example, so testing team done with the testing and they find some issue or they found some change in the program. That is, they don't want this color, they don't want this blue color, they want some different color in the output and they want different output text. So they send the change description. In some projects they use only emails. They take the screenshot and send you in an email what is the change you need to do, what is the error in the program you need to fix. In some projects they use project management tools like Jira is the most widely using project management tool to maintain the tasks, okay, to maintain the requirements, to update the changes, everything. Okay, what is the tool?
Zero.
Jira is the tool mostly using in any project to track all these changes and developments. So I got that email about the program change. Now I'll go to SC38. I'll log in into development system, go to SC38 and enter the program name and click on change. What I will do, I will do the necessary changes. I'll change the color, whatever. Okay, I'll add some code, whatever the code it is. I'll add some other code. I did some changes. When you are changing this, what you need to do? You need to maintain change log. Why you are changing this? It is already, so if it is already in production, if it is already working fine in production, if you have some changes, if they ask you to some changes, you need to maintain some text here. Why you are changing the existing code, right? You have to maintain some text here, commented text, like that. Okay, Clear? So I did the changes, right? What is the next step? Check the syntax. Click on save. What it is asking? It is asking for a new transport request number. Create the new transport request number. So it is a second transport request number, right? For the same requirement.
Yes,
Use
sir.
2 here. Sequence. Okay. Click on
Okay,
save.
sir.
Activate it. See, for example, I forgot to activate this. So what is after completing the change, what you need to do? You need to go to SC09, release that new change. Release that new change to the test system. It is in modifiable. First simulate the release. Go to more. Go to request task. Complete check. Simulate release. What it is saying? That program is inactive.
Inactive.
You cannot release this. First activate this. So program is activated. Now release your request. Release directly. Release directly. Now
Technically,
once
sir.
once your transport request is applied to the test system, your new change should be always should also be available in test system. Okay,
Yes, sir.
clear? Then they'll perform the testing, and if testing is successful, what they'll do? They'll apply these two transport requests to production system,
Production system.
right?
Yes, sir.
Now for example, after some time you want to see what are all the changes I've applied to this program, right? What is the
Yes, sir.
change? What is the change that I made for the first transport request number, and what is the changes I have made in the second transport request number? How can you check that? You can check that using version management. It is very important. Go to more, utilities, versions, version management. Here you can compare the versions. Each transport request is a new version for the program. Here we release two transport request number, right? Select the
Yes,
first
sir.
transport
Yes,
request
sir.
number. Select the first transport request number. Click on display. This is the code, right? We
Yes, sir.
transported as part of the first transport request.
Yes,
Select
sir.
the second transport request and display. This is the code we transported as part of second transport request, right?
Yes, sir.
So since we have only few lines, we're able to identify the difference. What is the change from the first transport request to second transport request, right? For
Yes,
example,
sir.
if you have thousands of lines, how can you identify what are the new changes you did as part of second transport request? For that reason, use control and click both transport requests and click on compare, right? See, observe here, it is comparing two transport requests. What are the changes? What are the differences between these two transport request numbers? Here, if you identify this,
Sir.
the code highlighted in color,
Look.
right?
Yes, sir.
These are the new
New ones.
changes. These are the new changes. Okay.
And
We did,
Santalan is the before change, sir.
yeah. This is the old existing, like previous transport request number, and this is the new
New.
change. What we did. Highlighted are the lines which we changed. Okay.
Okay, sir.
This is called version management. It is also very important. They'll ask you how to How do you know what are all the changes you did for the program? What you need to know? How can you track the changes of the program? By using
Version
version
management.
Version
management.
management.
Version management. For example, accidentally, for example, I released it to the test system, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
For some reason, they are not happy with this. They want the previous functionality only, the existing functionality only. They don't want this. What we have to do? They want as it is the old functionality. They don't want any changes. They wanted to revert. They wanted to revert all the changes. They want to remove all the new changes and they want to go with existing functionality only. What we need to do? Are you going to change this here? Are you going to change the code? If they want as it is existing functionality, what you need to do? Are you going to change the code? Are you going to remove this and are you going to change the code just like earlier? No, you should not do that.
No, sir.
Go to
No.
version
Utilities.
management. So this is the previous version, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Display
sir.
it. This is the code. This is the functionality they are expecting. Select this and what you need to do?
Retrieve.
Retrieve. Continue. What is it saying? Current version of the program is overwritten by old
All the
version.
version.
Yes. Continue. It will ask for a new transport request again. Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
Create
sir.
the new transport request. Third one, right?
Yes, sir.
Preview.
Some description. Click on save. So now, which one is active? The new transport request is
Third one,
active.
sir.
The new transport request is active, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, just to make sure, compare this new transport request and the first transport request. Compare it. What is your expectation? What is your expectation from the comparison?
Active options.
Active is in third one, sir. Inactive in
No.
first one.
Are you going to find any differences between this transport request
Yes,
and
sir.
this transport request number? So we retrieved this transport request number. What are all the changes? We retrieved. And that
Yes,
is
sir.
the new transport request number. This one, active one. Are you
Yes, sir.
going to find any differences between these two versions? This version and first version?
No, sir.
No,
Compare it.
sir.
Why still there are differences? Display. Or maybe we need to activate it. Change it. It is changed, right?
Yes, sir. Inactive position.
Yeah. Go back. Activate this. Now, now again go back to the version management.
Utilities.
So this is active one, right? This is the first transport request. Since we reverted back to the first transport request number, we should not be able to find any differences. There is no difference, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Both contain same version of the code. Th- these two should be different, right?
Yes.
So this is how we revert back the changes. Okay?
Yes, sir.
We just retrieve the version which is working perfectly. By mistake, let's say there is a complex program in your project and someone asks you to make some changes, some minor change, but accidentally you messed up. You changed important logic, which is disturbing the entire program. Then immediately what you need to do? You need to go to version management and retrieve the version which is working perfectly and overwrite your changes and release that to production again. Okay, so that at least you can make it work. Okay, so this is about transports and version management.
Okay, sir.